This is Ones to Watch, where we pick out 4 specific players from different categories to look out for ahead of the European Championships this summer. Today we start with goalkeepers, and our first category is the dark horse. First off, and the dark horse, the unexpected victor, and someone that if he does well in the group stage, well, it'll be an absolute miracle considering the teams he is up against. In RB Leipzig's Peter Gulaschi, Hungary not only have a top quality goalkeeper who's coming off the back of a brilliant Bundesliga season, as Leipzig have somewhat contended with Bayern Munich at the top of the Bundesliga, but also they've got someone who in the last few years has pretty much played against the finest players that European football has to offer, and he's excelled at it as well. Like I mentioned, Leipzig have been one of the best teams in the Bundesliga in the last few seasons. He helped them reach the semi-finals of the Champions League in 2020. He played every minute of Hungary's successful Euro qualifying campaign, all whilst keeping one clean sheet in every 3 and a bit games at club level over the last 6 years, showing incredible consistency. The reason why I've got him down as the dark horse or the underdog is because Hungary are also the dark horses / the underdog. I've mentioned before, they're playing in the group of death. They are alongside Portugal, Germany and France. And I know that Gulaschi has played against all of these guys, well, most of them in the Champions League and the Bundesliga, but if Hungary managed to get out of the group, much like they did in 2016, to many people's surprise, I'm sure it'll be down to, in no part, Gulaschi's fantastic performances. Next up, and it's the player with a point to prove, and I know what you're going to say, Matt, a point to prove? Hugo Lloris, he won the World Cup as France captain. Yes, he did, but a few years on, well, not only has he got a brilliant contender for the #1 jersey with France in Mike Maignan coming off the back of a fantastic season with Lille, but also, to be fair, Lloris's most memorable moment of that 2018 World Cup was making a massive mistake in the final, which let Mario Mandzukic reduce the deficit somewhat. In fact, he made this mistake very similar to Loris Karius in the Champions League final for Liverpool, just 6 weeks after that Liverpool game against Real Madrid. Karius hasn't played for Liverpool since, may I remind you. It's just lucky that Hugo Lloris has got a wealth of attacking talent in that France squad to help bail him out at the other end of the pitch. I'm not saying Lloris is in any way a bad goalkeeper, but like I mentioned, along with having a brilliant contender breathing down his neck, he also is entering the twilight of his career at age 34, and he needs to show that he can still be relied upon in goal. Normally, I wouldn't say this about an outfield position, it's just that when a goalkeeper gets changed around, it doesn't happen so frequently. So when you officially give that #1 jersey in a competitive game to someone else, it's like the changing of the guard. It's something that's more than likely to stick for quite a few games, if not forever. It's not really like just changing the attackers around for a tactical reason or just because you're playing a different opponent. The goalkeeper's jersey is normally sticking to one person and not changed so often. Imagine if Didier Deschamps doesn't want to leave after World Cup 2022 and leaves this summer instead. When they do that and you're ushering in a new era with younger players, the older ones are often the first to go, and with Lloris being one of the eldest in the squad, it doesn't exactly bode well for him. Again, if he has a fantastic tournament, then this is all absolute nonsense. But if you look at his Spurs career in the last few years, which has been generally good but littered with quite a few mistakes, he still, I believe, has got a point to prove. Next up, and we've got the young superstar, and competing for Spain's coveted #1 jersey isn't exactly the easiest task in the world. I mean, not only have you got some other good keepers in the Spain squad at the moment, but on top of this, you're following greats such as Casillas, Valdez, Canizares, Zubizarreta, a whole host of top quality Spanish keepers in the past. But to be fair, the fact that so much faith has been placed in Unai Simon is actually a very good show of his ability. Like the other keepers in Spain's squad, Simon is a reflexive, intelligent shot stopper, proficient passer of the ball and a composed keeper when charged with distribution from the back. The only issue is that he also exhibits the same occasional rushes of blood to the head that other keepers like David De Gea and Kepa Arrizabalaga also show in the squad. Most recently, on his debut game for Spain and in the last international break, he had actually made quite a few mistakes. One of them led to a goal, and one of them he had the experienced Sergio Ramos to thank for covering his back. Having said that, unlike Hugo Lloris, Unai Simon is a young and inexperienced goalkeeper, but if they give him the #1 jersey, if they allow him to play most of the tournament, it could be an absolute game changer and give them some real stability in a position which has barely had some in the last few seasons. The 23-year-old actually turns 24 on the eve of the competition, and he has been in 3rd place of the Zamora Trophy in his full debut campaign with Athletic Bilbao. He's been doing so well that there are still rumours surrounding his future at the club, although in 2020 he signed a 5-year deal with the side that had no release clause and said he wanted to retire in Bilbao. That pretty much puts the rumours linking him to the likes of Dortmund, Sevilla, Arsenal and West Ham all to bed. Actually, we mentioned Unai Simon following on from some greats in the Spain squad, but how about our superstar in this video? And that is Gigi Donnarumma following on from Gigi Buffon. Some rather enormous boots, or should I say gloves, to fill. Donnarumma is of course the heir to Buffon's throne, and he actually said he idolised the goalkeeper growing up, as I'm sure many young Italian goalkeepers did over the past 20 years or so. In fact, it's easy to forget that Donnarumma is still so young. At age 22, he's been the AC Milan goalkeeper for like the last 5 or 6 years, amassing over 200 appearances for the club. As Italy's number one, you have to be a commanding, physically adept, decisive, mentally strong leader on top of having top-level goalkeeping ability, and Donnarumma has it in spades. Which is good, because they're going to need players like Donnarumma on the pitch if they're to reclaim their status as one of the best teams in Europe. The last decade, footballing-wise, for Italy hasn't exactly been so great. Yes, they made it to the final of Euro 2012 before being absolutely dismantled by a fantastic Spain squad, but apart from that, they've been terrible in the World Cups, group stage exits in 2010 and 2014, followed by not even qualifying for 2018. The 2016 Euro saw them make it to the quarter-final, but even then, they were knocked out on penalties by Germany. So this summer has to be a good summer for the Italian national team. As Donnarumma takes the gloves, you can expect some fantastic performances on the pitch, especially considering how good Italy have been recently. They conceded just 4 goals in their perfect 10 out of 10 wins in Euro qualifying, and on top of this, they've got 14 clean sheets in their last 20 games. So there you have it. There are my 4 goalkeepers to look out for this summer. Let me know which other ones you think are going to have a great tournament down below. Check out everything else we've got going on, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.